I broke down some of the divides, stood up to both parties, and was named the most bipartisan member of Congress from Virginia.
Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat gubernatorial candidate in Virginia, is portraying herself as a moderate.
I know the future of our Commonwealth matters so much more than any petty political fight.
However, Independent Woman's Voice believes the former representative's voting record during her time in Congress reflects an extreme anti-woman agenda.
So she's an extremist. And so everything that Abigail Spanberger does to claim she's a moderate, she's lying.
I spoke exclusively to Carrie Sheffield, a senior policy analyst at Independent Woman, about why she started the Sunlight campaign.
She voted against protecting women's sports. And when you look at the American people, more than 80% of Americans say it is wrong to have men in women's sports. This is dangerous. It creates serious physical injuries. It creates situations in locker rooms that invade privacy. And she's on the wrong side of this.
A Wick Insights poll found 83% of Americans say it's wrong to have men in women's sports. This includes 76% of Democrat voters and 78% of female voters. The Sunlight campaign features several radio ads airing across the state of Virginia through iHeartRadio, calling Spanberger an anti-woman candidate.
So where is Abigail Spanberger on protecting women and girls? She voted to keep men in women's sports. Abigail Spanberger wants you to believe that she's a sensible moderate, but her record is as extreme as it gets.
She overall has an extremist voting record. When you look at her time in Congress, she had only a 5% voting record according to Heritage Action.
Heritage Action scorecards rank how conservative Congress members lean based on how they vote. The average Democrat in the House sits at 10%. Spanberger rates half the average at 5%. Spanberger also failed the Riley Gaines Stand with Women scorecard, which scores members of Congress on whether they support legislation preserving female opportunities and private spaces. The grading system was started by the former collegiate swimmer Riley Gaines, who was forced to compete against biological male Leah Thomas.
Abigail Spanberger is anti-woman. Even during Women's History Month, she supported Trans Visibility Day, which is in many ways an assault on the rights of women. Title IX was a legendary piece of legislation. It was bipartisan, and it allowed access to sports and equal opportunity for girls and women. Everything Abigail Spanberger stands for would erode this.
When it comes to the Democratic hopefuls' voting record, it's not just women's rights Independent Woman is worried about. During her time in Congress, Spanberger also voted in line with former President Joe Biden when it came to economics, energy, and immigration.
Abigail Spanberger does not support public safety. She voted against the Lake and Riley Act, which would protect and make sure that illegal aliens are being deported, people who are committing violent crimes. When you're talking about economics, she did all of the bills that Joe Biden wanted that increased inflation that was so painful for families in Virginia and all over the country. You had record inflation under Joe Biden, 20% cumulative, hadn't been seen in a generation, and Abigail Spanberger was all for that. Abigail Spanberger is pro-inflation. Abigail Spanberger is pro-hurting families at the kitchen table.
Former Representative Abigail Spanberger became the Democratic nominee for the off-year gubernatorial race back in April. She is set to face off against Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears in the November 4th Virginia election. Despite having Governor Glenn Youngkin's endorsement, it's been an uphill battle for Earl Sears this election cycle. While the Sunlight campaign is not throwing their support behind a Republican gubernatorial candidate, Sheffield says Virginia cannot go back under Democratic rule.
We believe her policies would be dangerous for Virginians. And as a Virginia homeowner and voter, as you said, I'm also the chapter president for Independent Women's Network here in Virginia. And our members are so angry about what the left had done to Virginia schools, and Youngkin has been able to remediate some of that, which is great. And so we just can't go back. We can't go back under Abigail Spanberger.
I reached out to Abigail Spanberger's campaign and have yet to hear back. I'm Amy DeLaura for Washington Examiner.